Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Let me see. Hey, Muffy Dragon Slayer. Hey, Tony. Hey, Alyssa. Deb and PA. Hey, Shabanae. Hey, Teresa. Tiff. How are you guys? I'm out of breath because I had to run and do something really quick when I was like, be right back. Okay, let's see. Hey, B Crumbs. Oh yeah, Deb and PA. I actually have it set up where I can turn the camera on now. But the thing is, like, they can see, I gotta look up here to see the chat. The computer's down here, so it feels kind of strange. Let me see. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Let's see. I'm in the spare bedroom at Mom's house, so. Hey, Law Nerd Amber. Hey, King Raku. Just me. How are you guys? I'm still getting used to the whole thing. Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of weird, but anyways, there's a resin bow behind you. I don't know what it is. Oh, a rainbow. That is actually, hold on. That is actually a little light that is on the floor right here, see? That you can put on the wall behind you, and then there's a little light right here. Oh, I know, Shay. Thank you. Yay, Nay, I can't wait. Hey, Joanne. Deb, I'm going to buy a new one, I think. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I don't know. I think maybe I'll do payment or I don't know. I'll figure something out, though. Okay, so anyways, yeah, it's very weird being on the big TV right in front of me. It feels so weird. I don't like it at all. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Anyways, I thought we would hang out tonight for a little bit and look at some of the reports that have came out in the last few days, basically surrounding Jesse McFadden and the fact that he was even a free man, like the inner workings behind that, his compliance checks, things like that. I found a couple articles, but there's one, hey, East Texas chick, really good one that we're going to go through. So let me grab that really fast. Actually, I didn't even notice this, but hey, Crazy Mama, I can't wait to get my wax melt. Let me drop that link too. Shay, will you drop an explanation point and then nay, just N-A-Y for me, pretty please? This is interesting. So this is Kaylee Olivia's, and we've talked about her before. She's a local reporter, and she's been trying to get to the bottom of everything, which has been really interesting to follow along. But she said today, we were given 14 new documents pertaining to Jesse McFadden, 4 radio logs, and 4 90-day self-check-ins. The check-in records all look the same. This one was conducted on March 8th, the very last one before 7 bodies were found. Let's see. And I guess he just didn't know, but Michael's last name is wrong, and it's written out that Michael is older than Riley, which is not correct. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't think that what would be the reason to do that intentionally? Then she says, I got to chat with Okmulgee County Sheriff Eddie Rice about the home compliance check too. I was told they're conducted at different intervals. He said they only perform them if there's a complaint filed against the offender or suspicious activity. Only one was done in June 2022. Let's see. So somebody actually did call in. I've got to find it. It's in all this stuff we're going to look at. But I think in February, and made a report about kids living in the home, which is kind of interesting. Let's see. Hey, Carol Claus. Hey, Rich. Mystic. If I didn't say hi to you, I think I did, but okay. So now let me show you this article that I found. We're going to go through that. There's a couple, but I think they're basically the same information, or similar. And then there's a video that we're going to watch. So Unchecked Sin. required checks for Jesse McFadden only show basic information was reported, no home walkthrough. So I'm just going to read from the beginning. There might be people new to the case in here. Like a lot of these articles, they'll do a little review, at the top, or to refresh our memories, because we talk about so many different cases, it can be kind of tough to keep up. So 7 bodies were found on a registered sex offender's property earlier this month. Loved ones of the deceased have identified all 7. As a convicted sex offender, his wife, her children, and 2 other teens. Did I turn that music off? No? Sorry. I was like, yeah, I know, and then I just left it. Okay. McFadden shot 6 people to death before turning the weapon on himself, according to officials. He was a registered sex offender after serving time for a RAPE conviction. I'm not going to say that word, even though I'm saying all the rest. But in an open records request, News 4 obtained 4 radio logs and 4 90-day self-check-ins pertaining to Jesse McFadden. Now, this is the place where that girl the Twitter, she works for them, I believe. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections Chief of Communications, Kay Thompson, told K4 McFadden was not on probation after his release from prison. However, as a habitual and aggravated, that's in quotations, sex offender, he was required to check in with the sheriff's office every 90 days. Hey, Becky. Let's see. Hey, Casey. Yeah, you guys, this is so weird getting used to looking at the TV. I mean, I could stream from the phone, but we couldn't look at stuff together. And I like to sit around and just have conversation, but I also like to learn and discuss the information. I don't know. I don't want to do it on the phone. Okay. Habitual and aggravated. You think? I mean, come on. The purpose of a self-check-in is to verify the sex offender's address, according to Thompson. News 4 spoke with Okmulgee County Sheriff Eddie Rice. He confirmed McFadden had been an Okmulgee County resident since May of 2022. McFadden's first self-check-in was conducted on June 10th. The second one was on September 9th. The third one was on December 9th, and the fourth one happened on March 8th. The information collected included, so they were doing them. They weren't going, well, let me just keep reading and then we'll talk about it. Hey, I know, Casey. I'm glad that you're here too. I'm going to Joe Baltimore for Memorial Day. I hope that it's sunny here enough to go swimming, because it's been really freaking cold. 65 degrees the last couple of days, which is not cold, but with the wind from the water, it sucks. Ooh, Muffy, really? Oh my gosh, you got to go back at some of the videos that I've done. This case is horrific. I mean, he had an awful charge back in 2003, supposed to be in jail until 2023, got let out early. Although when he was in jail during those 17 years, he got in trouble for getting caught in sexual acts, doing drugs, assault, and I'm not sure, but there are rumors that was in a sexual manner on another inmate. Then he got caught with a cell phone texting with a little teenage girl. Naked pictures and all kinds of stuff back and forth. And the way that he met her was by accident. She accidentally, she meant to message somebody else, and this predator answers the number. Think about that, you guys. Think about our kids. That is scary as hell. It really is. And then he was able to manipulate her through the phone. This young girl, she thought they were really a thing. It's very messed up. Hey, Lori. Those home shopping places have free interest payment plans. I know. I was going to look for something like that and get, I don't know. I mean, I did have my computer almost 2 years. So, and it could be good just for my channel too anyway. So, This case gives me so much anger. I'm from the UK, but reading about this just makes me mad for the communities in Henrietta and those poor families. So many failures from authorities. I agree, Casey. It really does. I love your picture too. Very pretty. Hey, Spicy Sugar. There was another one I didn't want to miss. Yes, Crazy Mama. Manipulation is real. Yes. And that was, in my opinion, just from the outside looking in, seemed to be kind of his thing. Okay. This is what, let me read that last statement again. The information that they collected during those check-ins included the following: McFadden's correct mailing, physical address, and phone number, McFadden's Department of Corrections ID number, all occupants at the home address where Holly Guest, Riley Allen, Michael Mayo, and Tiffany Guest were listed, all vehicles McFadden may have been driving, and current employment. The length of time listed for McFadden having lived with Guest and her children was at least 2 years. And we saw the papers, the ones I showed you just a minute ago, they did say 2+ years. And not only that, like I said, the names were not correct and the ages were not correct. K-Brays me either. I really can't. I can't stand people that take advantage of anybody, to be honest. It's just a gross trait to have. Like, you can just stay over there. That's how I feel. In the documents K4 received Monday morning was a copy of the only home compliance check the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office performed on McFadden. Was a copy of the only... Wait a minute. So who was doing those 4 checks up here? Self-check-in? Oh, okay. That's when he went there. Right? That's kind of confusing. Huh. So I guess those are not at his house. So in the documents K4 received Monday morning was a copy of the only home compliance check the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office performed on McFadden. In an email from the Sheriff's Office, K4 was told home compliance checks were performed at different intervals. That statement was sent to K4 on May 11th, but when asked for clarification on what different intervals means, no one responded. In a previous statement by Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office investigator Jason Dawson, he compared home compliance checks to playing darts. We do compliance checks, but it's like throw a dart, see which we're going to do, because that's all the resources we have to do, said Dawson. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me check on you guys. Thank you for being here, by the way. Hey, Tony. Is this new line self-checkout at grocery store? I don't know what you mean. Let's see. Oh, Eddie, thank you. Thank you, Shay, for letting me know. Eddie, thank you so much. That's really sweet. I appreciate that. You guys, I got to get going on my second channel. I don't know what I'm going to cover. I've had a lot of ideas that come and go, but nothing that I've been like dead set on. I don't know. But I miss doing it. Let me see. I lost you guys. I lost what I'm looking at. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry. Okay. Sheriff Rice told News 4 Monday morning. By the way, before I continue, I like this reporter, the woman that we looked at her Twitter, because she's been on it. She is not letting it go, and she keeps pushing for answers, and I appreciate that. Okay, so Sheriff Rice told News 4 Monday morning home compliance checks are only completed on sex offenders when a complaint against the person is filed. Records show McFadden underwent one home compliance check on June 24th, 2022. The same information as a self-check-in was jotted down. K4 asked Rice if deputies walked through McFadden's home during that home compliance check. He said no. What is a home compliance check if you don't go in the home? That is quite confusing, you guys. I don't. Hey, Hearsay. Hey, Melissa Jade. Sorry, I had to get a drink, you guys. Sometimes you get up here talking and it makes you thirsty. Okay, we had a monster among us, stated Paige. Dude, I'm sorry, but a home compliance check and you don't go in the home? Bullshit. That is complete BS. It really is. That's just my opinion, and who am I? But I'm just saying, gross. That's just awful. We've had a monster among us, stated Paige. Sheriff Rice stated convicted sex offenders still have rights. So unless oh, that's right. I don't think that they were able to, but there was one call in. Okay, so unless the individual grants them permission to walk through, there's essentially nothing they can do. That's what the News Nation video is about. And that's ridiculous too. Even then, Sheriff Rice said if permission to walk through while he's awaiting trial for another crime like this. I mean, come on. There's so many ways that they could have made it where he had to have people come in his house and actually, keep a closer eye on him. That's killer. Even then, Sheriff Rice said if permission to walk through the home was granted, they would only be allowed to walk through rooms in which doors are open. The excuse has been made where we can't go into their home because they have rights. When you sexually violate somebody, you lose your rights. I'm sorry, you lose your rights in jail. So if you want rights in this life, don't be a sexual abuser, especially to children, said Paige. Thompson said there are 0 state requirements when it comes to home compliance checks. 0 state requirements when it comes to home compliance checks. We cannot speak to any practices or procedures around local law enforcement home checks, added Thompson. This is kind of long, so let me come back and check on you guys because I've moved my windows all around. Hey, Jaded Empath. Yep, Joanne, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but when you do something like that, no. You lose. Okay, if you commit a felony, wait a minute, you can't vote. That's ridiculous. No, I know there's ways around that, and I'm not very educated on it. I'm just saying that's some BS. Okay. They have no money for resources to check on these people, but I'll bet their PD is stocked to the grills with firearms and riot gear. Spend that money on people instead. Well, now they're paying for, this investigation. Thank you, guys. Okay. That's ridiculous. We cannot speak to any practices or procedures around local law enforcement home checks, added Thompson. News 4 clarified with Thompson the responsibility of home compliance checks are left up to local law enforcement. Correct, she said. Paige said local law enforcement has truly dropped the ball in this case. This never should have happened, he added. There was a complaint-like call, this is the one I was talking about, that came in to the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office January 29th, 2023. An anonymous female called in to express concern over McFadden living with 3 underage children. Records show she wanted it documented and looked into. There you go. Man, it's infuriating. The mods are amazing here and on the second channel. I love you guys. And yeah, I appreciate you so much. I really do. I plan on trying to get a lot more active on the second channel. I just I had several ideas. I just haven't had any that I've really felt 100% into. I don't know. It's weird. Very weird. Okay. This Britney Spears thing, this glitch. I don't know. There's weird stuff with her going on. I thought about doing a video on that, but okay. Anyways, dispatcher notes show. Now, let's Don't forget what I just said, by the way, because this is huge. Anonymous female called in to express concern over McFadden living with 3 underage children. Records show she wanted it documented and looked into. Dispatcher notes show McFadden's information was run through the state sex offender registry, in which Holly Guest was confirmed to be his fiance and the 3 kids were hers. Hold on just a second, you guys. Sorry. Okay. Hi, Shelly Beans. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And thank you for being here. Joanne, it's right there. Actually, Shay dropped it right above. It's called Real Talk with Alex. It's just everything but true crime. They did, Perry. They absolutely did. It's very bizarre. Okay. I don't know, Teresa. Let's see. Sheriff Rice told K4 that is the gist of what his department did when they received the radio log. Nothing further was done. Quote, an unchecked sin and unchecked evil and unchecked misconduct that grows, and sin becomes bigger, and sin festers, and sin becomes a monster, said Page. Radio logs from May 1st, the day 7 bodies were discovered in Henrietta, were also provided to News 4. The kids are upstairs in the room above me and being just way too loud. I hope it's not too loud. I'm about to get them in trouble. The first log is from around 10 a.m. The initial call type was an attempt to locate at McFadden's property. Hold on just a second. Okay. No, they're wrestling and they're oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Did anyone find out if there were more missing people from Henrietta, Oklahoma? So there are many, but I've not heard anything else about it since I've heard some about it on YouTube. Then remember, Ashley Banfield did a video where she had them all scrolling in the background, and there were lots of them. So, okay, the initial call was attempt to locate. Deputies were at McFadden's property for 19 minutes before leaving. The second log is from a relative of Holly Guest. The initial call type was missing person. The caller advised he had not been able to get a hold of Guest and her 3 children since April 28th. He said he was en route from Westville to Henrietta. The final radio log is from 2:22 p.m. This record shows an attempt to serve a search warrant to McFadden. It was during this search warrant that 7 bodies were found on the property. She's not been able to get a hold of her since. I'm just like, sometimes it takes me a second. I need to look at things twice. It's interesting, though. It was during this search warrant that 7 bodies were found on the property. Records show Okmulgee County deputies didn't complete the task until 5.5 hours later. Pastor Page spoke with News 4 about what his community has looked like since the murder-suicide. He walked through McFadden's home with the Webster family and News 4 3 weeks ago. He said, if law enforcement would have seen what my eyes have seen, it don't take a rocket scientist to know that this is even bigger than just something that happened local. Thank God that they asked me to go, because I couldn't imagine what they would have endured if I had not been there with them. It was bad enough even with me there, but I thank God that he allowed me to walk through those days with them. Page said it has been hard being bombarded with media requests, but he was ready to talk Monday morning. Something I want to go on record to say is that Henrietta is a good town. We've got a lot of good people here. We are not a town of vicious monsters as it would appear. What happened here is extremely out of the ordinary. Moving forward, he doesn't want to see his community, parents, or law enforcement turn a blind eye to evil. I want to take this moment to say this. Parents, investigate where your kids is going. Every adult, I don't care if it's an adult in Sunday school teaching the class. I don't care if it's a pastor, he said. If your child is going to be with them outside of your presence, pull a background check, because we can't just grieve that this happened, and we can't just wish it hadn't happened, but then move forward and not take a proactive stance to come against it. Wow. And that's so true, though. I mean, seriously, it's scary to think about your kids going with anybody these days. Hey, Crumb Curious. Like, I would rather have the kids at my house, to be honest. Yeah. Hey, Queen Olive. You should hear me on Melissa J's on game night. Shoot, I don't know. I heard like a loud thump up there, and because they're right above me, I can hear them so clearly. Yeah, law nerd, exactly. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. He told K4 a big part of it is unchecked sins, which leads back to law enforcement. He said there isn't just one person to point the finger of blame at in this situation. So this is the preacher, like a local preacher who went with the family through the house and all of that stuff. He said that monster among us is not bigger than the God in us. You know, the Bible says greater is he, the sinners, than he that's in the world. But I'm trying to say it. But I'm saying all that to say is parents, grandparents, school administration, local law enforcement, Department of Corrections, everybody involved. Somebody just didn't do their jobs. Hey, I agree with him. And I'm glad that there's people speaking up about that, because they didn't. He said, I've said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. The Bible verse reads. That's one that he quoted. He added a key player in all this is praying and watching. He said, thanks everyone who has prayed over the community. Let's see. Local law enforcement should have been watching adults connected to this situation. Should have been watching, stated Page. I'm not saying any of these things to condemn. What I'm saying is we've got to come through this. We've got to heal people. We've got to heal our community. And the only thing that will heal is love. Anger is not going to heal, even though we all have a right to be angry at what's happened. He wrapped up his interview by reiterating how great of a city Henrietta is. Okay, so we're going to, let me see. That's the end of it, but I wanted to see. Okay. Let me get back to you guys. Hey, Adrian. I hope you're having a good day, too. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Lisa. One thing I like about the USA, though, is the SO register is publicly available. We have to request that about individuals specifically. So sad this happened. Well, I don't know. I think definitely it's the whole system needs redone. You know, seriously, it just honestly from top to bottom, you know, the sex offender list and all of that, but also CPS, the jail systems, the county jails, the Fed, you know, Department of Corrections, all of them. I don't know. I'd rather have their friends come to my house than I do rounds every 10 minutes. I know, Lisa. That's how I am too. You got this, law nerd Amber. You'll make it good. I'm sure of it. I know, Meg. Well, Megan, you know, what does help is him speaking out and saying people screwed up, like seriously, because they did. Let's watch what, because I think I've got a few different things on it right here. But we will watch this one.
right here is one of my 18 audiobooks that I own.
Okay, this was Ashley Banfield. On basically right around that these articles came out, which was like about 3 days ago.
The checking system, like how the authorities check on a dangerous sex offender who's released back into society. You better pour a drink for this. Jesse McFadden was required to check in every 90 days. Okay, that sounds pretty good.
I know, I'm curious.
But see the top line there? Self-check-ins. Self-check-ins. He did them. He came to the sheriff department in June, September, December, March. March was just 2023. That's him going to them, not them going to his filthy things and sex toys and, chain, kitchen counter, connected, drilled into the kitchen counter, computers everywhere.
And even if they did go to the house, the one time they did, they can't go inside. They don't go inside. But we know, like I told you guys before, so on Christmas Eve, Holly's ex-husband came and spent the night. He brought his wife so they could all have Christmas together with the kids. None of that stuff was there. The chains on the counter and all that stuff, none of that stuff was there. We do know that they found the receipt for those locks and stuff. And I don't know, some of these may have been there and some may have been new. We don't know. I really don't know. But if the point is, if they would have went inside, then we would know for sure either, yes, it was like this, or no, it wasn't, and it's just annoying. Hey, Wolfie.
Sheriffs apparently didn't have to go there. This is what's so mad. This is a habitual aggravated sex offender. And KFOR, our affiliate, discovered that these self-check-ins happen on 4 days. And this is what the deputies would have to confirm. Your mailing address, physical address, phone number, Department of Corrections ID number, all occupants at the home address, all vehicles that drive, your current employment. But you rely on the offender, a felon, a rapist, to give you all that stuff. Did he really tell them who the occupants were at his home? Oh, I just married a girl with 3 teenagers.
Well, yeah, not completely accurately, but we see them on that list. Let's see what she says about that.
According to the records, one of the home visits, June 24th of last, we're not sure if it was because of a complaint.
I'm so confused, Amber.
But it's the same stuff. Confusing. Just, tell us your basic, mailing address, vehicles, employment. Here's what's the craziest. The sheriffs, if they come to the home, are not legally allowed to enter the home if he said can't. And if they are welcome into the home, they're not allowed to enter into rooms if doors are closed. What the actual point here? What they're going to want to show you in the bedrooms that, restraints?
No doubt. Like, say it's any kind of sex offender that's, even what he got in trouble for in jail, technology, child, pictures of children or whatever. They're not going to be like, oh, here, yeah, come look at this. What is the point? That's just absolutely ridiculous.
There was a second call, a complaint-like call, an anonymous female called in January of this year, expressing concern that McFadden was living with 3 underage kids. But since those kids were not his previous victims, there was no follow-up check. This is where I bring in Phil Waters. He's a retired homicide detective, spent 33 years in law enforcement, investigating more than 400 homicide cases. Get me off the ledge, Phil, if it's even possible.
Well, thanks for having me back, Ashley, but I will tell you, I think I'm on the ledge with you on this one. It's always disturbing. And for me, I have a personal interest in this particular case. I was raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, about an hour.
There you go. A retired homicide detective who is also outraged. I always appreciate hearing from someone who's done this as a career. Sometimes people in chats will chime in, or if we're talking about mental health, just hearing from the experts. I find that so interesting because that shows us we should expect more. We should expect more. He's a retired homicide detective and he's outraged. The outrage, is legit. Warranted.
north of Henrietta.
Couldn't find my
So I'm
word.
familiar with the area. And
Hey, Astro from
I'll
space.
tell you, this is one of these cases that there is such a failure with just the system itself. When I listen to you talk about these checks and these random checks and these where he's coming in and saying, hey, yeah, I'm still around and I'm at the white place I told you I was last time. And when they go to the house, there's a barrier in the law that allows them to really do a proper check commensurate with his particular registration as a sex offender. So all I can tell you is that this is just an example of a tremendous failure of the system in trying to protect the criminal. And it's heartbreaking now that we know what the results are of this particular.
I have to be honest, Phil, I was really gently surprised to see, well, good. They had 4 quarterly checks, June, September, December, March. So he was keeping on track with the 90-day check-ins. But to hear that the system allows for, look, in your business that sex offenders are some of the most manipulative people, and they allow them just to come on into the sheriff's department. And
a lot of criminals in general are manipulative addicts. And we know that, it appears that he was using. But yeah, we talked about that at the beginning, the manipulation factor. You can
let us know you're doing okay. They don't check the home for any evidence that there might be recidivist crime happening. Like, is this a resources issue, or is this just laziness, or could it be both?
Curious.
Well, I think they're operating within the scope of the law. I do not know what the law is in Oklahoma related to the check-ins for registered sex offenders. So, but looking at this and what you have already detailed here about some of the restrictions, it seems to me that the Oklahoma legislature needs to get on the ball here and make some real drastic changes involving these particular violators.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, hold on. I want to show you guys something else.
To find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to
click. Okay, I want to show you guys something else, but just a second. Amber did a documentary today. If you guys missed it, on Idaho 4, it was very good. You're very talented at that. I would sit there and watch it, and I was thinking, like, my brain literally cannot comprehend how you do that, because I can remember all the things that have happened, but to grab all the pieces, and this is confusing with a lot of information from a lot of places, but grab all the pieces, put them together in order, and make it look good and sound good and flow. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. Hey, on the case with Jeannie. Wonder where Jen's at. I'm sorry, but they have no rights. They gave up their rights after becoming a known felon. He was literally awaiting trial. I mean, okay, so I thought this was kind of interesting. Says, and yet another Jesse McFadden. So this is from Morbid Knowledge on Twitter. And they said, pedophile serial killer Joseph Duncan was sentenced to death after he murdered a family and kidnapped the 2 youngest children, essaying and torturing them for 6 weeks. He died on March 28th, 2021 on death row. I had never heard of this one. A family. It's similar, I don't know. I think that he definitely would have been on death row too, but I just thought it'd be something interesting to look at. Let's look at this. Criminal Minds Wiki, Joseph Duncan III. Actually, it reminds me, Melissa, that live Melissa just did was very good, comparing that Candy case with Dorothy Lewis with Shay. Okay, we're not playing that. Can you guys see that? Yeah. She did a fantastic job. It's no small feat to make such a careful order out of, I know, and nonlinear info, for real. Hey, Punksy. Good to see you all. Love you too, Anne. Hey, Idaho Charlie. Yes, Astro from space. He did. I'm just going to look at his little wiki thing just because it's kind of interesting. Let's see. I cannot see, like on the TV, the top where the tabs are to switch. They're cut off. It's really hard to see, to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay. Joseph Edward Duncan III was an American convicted pedophilic and ephobophilic serial rapist, abductor, arsonist, and later serial killer, family annihilator, and stalker. He is infamous for the 2005 murders of several members of the Groen family and abductions of the two youngest children, one of whom he later killed. Wow, I don't know how I've never heard of this guy. Have you guys heard of him? Joseph Edward Duncan III. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I want to see other cases that you guys were talking about. Okay, let me keep going. Number of victims. Ooh, look at this chart. So he had an alias Jet and Jazzy Jet. Jazzy Jet. Huh. Oh, Jazzy Jet there. What? Oh my God. Wow. Wow, he was born in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And he was executed March 28th, 2021 in Indiana. His pathology is serial rapist, arsonist, serial killer, later. I'm just going to say it. Pedophile, hebephile, family annihilator, stalker, abductor. Modus operandi, bludgeoning and 1 shooting. Number of victims, between 5 and 8 killed, between 3 and 16 raped, 1 to 7 molested, 1 attempted molestation, and 0 to 3 stalked. Oh my God. Span of crimes, 1978 to July 2005. You guys, there are some sick people out here in this world. Oh my God. Yes, crazy mama. What the F? No, Astro from Space. I hadn't heard of that. Career criminal, yeah. I don't know how I haven't heard of him. He's, pretty. So here's his charges. 5 counts of murder, 1 count of auto theft, 4 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of sodomy, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of parole violation. He was sentenced to death. He was arrested July of 2005, so he only did 16 years before, or no, it says, look, he had brain cancer. Wait, I thought it said he was executed on that morbidly Twitter thing. Hold up. While on death row. Oh, no, he died on death row. Wow. So he sat on there for 16 years and ended up dying of brain cancer. He was born February 25th, the 4th of 5 children. The oldest son in a military family, dad in the Army. Let's see. In 1978, at the age of 15, he committed his first known sex crime, raping a 9-year-old boy at gunpoint, which he was arrested for. Oh my God. At 15? The following year, he was arrested again for driving a stolen car. Sentenced as a juvenile, he was sent to Dislin's Boys Ranch, where he was assigned to hold meetings with a therapist. It was during this time that his parents divorced, causing his father to remarry and his 3 older sisters moving out at once. After a few months, he stole several guns from a neighbor. In 1980, later abducting, raping, and sodomizing a 14-year-old boy at gunpoint. later getting caught and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Trigger warning, you guys, by the way. That's what I was thinking as I was reading that. I don't, like I say, I don't often like to do that, but this is quite graphic. In 1994, 14 years after his sentencing, he was paroled under the condition that he would not engage in any interaction with minors. Initially sent to a halfway house, he began living in other locations in the Seattle, Washington area and eventually violated his parole 2 years later, being arrested for marijuana usage and firearm possession. He was sent to jail for a full month, but was paroled again with newer restrictions. Oh my God. During his parole, it is believed that he murdered 10-year-old Anthony Michael Martinez in California in 1997, as well as his alleged and suspected victims. On March 31st of 97, he violated parole again by stealing his girlfriend's car and traveled abroad. Then he was arrested on August 27th at his half-sister's house in Kansas City, Missouri, and returned to prison. However, he was again released from prison on July 14th, 2000 for good behavior. Wow, that does sound like Jesse McFadden. Duncan moved to Fargo, North Dakota. On July 3rd, 2004, Duncan molested a boy at a Detroit Lakes, Minnesota playground and tried to do the same to the boy's friend, for which he would be arrested and charged with on March 2005. A Fargo businessman who was an acquaintance of Duncan's helped him post his $15,000 bail, and Duncan was released on April 5th. Now, this is scary. I'm glad that we looked at this because, number one, a lot of people, you do like almost naturally kind of watch out for creeps around your little girls more, or you know what I mean? But you got to watch around all your kids, and that's just, I don't know why that is though, because I don't know. It's just awful. That scares the hell out of me. At a playground, like, think about it. How many times have you guys take your little kids to the playground? And also, I'm always there watching, but dude, I don't know. You just never know. You really don't. Okay. I got out. Okay, so this is the grown murders and abductions. I got out and I got even, but I did not get caught. So I got even again and again, did not get caught. I got even twice, actually more. Sometime before skipping bail, Duncan apparently made travel plans. According to police investigations, he first stopped by at a Walmart to buy night vision goggles and a video camcorder. Then he rented a red 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee on April 15th, which he used to travel through parts of Missouri. On the 27th, he stole a set of license plates. Let's see. From there, he went to a neighborhood near Coeur d'Alene, which, wait a minute, that is where one of the kids' boyfriends is from in the Idaho 4. Is it Jack? No, I don't remember, but one of them. No, Maddie's boyfriend, I think. I don't know. But this is where he spotted the grown family, consisting of 40-year-old Brenda, her 37-year-old boyfriend, Mark, Brenda's 3 children, 13-year-old Slade, 9-year-old Dylan, and 8-year-old Shasta. Becoming interested with Dylan and Shasta, Duncan repeatedly returned to the neighborhood to secretly watch the 2 children from a safe vantage point, using his night vision goggles during the nighttime. Oh my God, you guys. 10 teens missing over the area over the last 2 years. I'm not far from there. Oh my God, one and only. See, I knew it was a lot because I had heard it was around 10. And then Ashley Banfield, did the video where she scrolled through their photos, the teens that were missing in the area. And there seemed to be maybe even a couple more than that. Oh, okay. See, Shay, thank you. You remember it, Corey? No way. I had never heard of this. Okay, let's see what it says. So that is this scares me. There is a man who becomes obsessed with these two little girls in some random ass neighborhood, just completely stranger, and like just completely a stranger. And he finds a safe vantage point and uses night vision goggles to secretly watch these kids. What the F? And then also the little boys at the park. That's scary. You guys, what? Oh my God. Mm. He's also said to have stalked the grown family for days as he prepared for the attack. On May 15th, the family drove to Coeur d'Alene to run errands before returning to celebrate a barbecue with others, which went into the evening hours. According to a report that appeared in the Spokesman Review, Slade Grown had been hired by a neighbor to mow the grass by his driveway earlier that day. The neighbor didn't have enough money to pay, but promised him he would stop by his house tomorrow. When the neighbor arrived at the Grown home on the 16th to pay Slade, he found that no one was apparently home. A dog was barking incessantly from inside, and the family cars were still parked in the driveway, but with their doors opened. Out of suspicion, the neighbor called 911. When deputies arrived, they found the bodies of Brenda and Slade in the kitchen and Mark McKenzie's body in the living room. All three were bludgeoned to death. There was no sign of Dylan or Shasta, the kids. Immediately, the deputies sealed off the house and closed off the road in the vicinity of the house, designating the entire area a crime scene. The following day, coroners officially identified the three bodies in the house, and they were systematically removed from the scene to be taken to the county morgue. Meanwhile, a search effort for Dylan and Shasta was launched with volunteers from the Kootenai County Search and Rescue, searching throughout the wooded areas surrounding the Grown McKenzie house and also Lake Coeur d'Alene. An Amber Alert was also issued nationwide. On May 18th, a person of interest surfaced in the case. 33-year-old Robert Roy Concrete Bob Leutner, a worker in the concrete and construction industry, hence the nickname, with a somewhat lengthy criminal record, who was believed to have visited the family on the day of the murders just hours before. A relative of his told investigators that Leutner owed Brenda and Mark $2,000. Upon learning that police were searching for him, he turned himself in and denied having to do anything with the murders. He then took a polygraph and passed, taking himself out of any suspicion as a result. During the search and investigation, the FBI and other local agencies joined in, with the former offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to Dylan and Shasta's safe recoveries. Look, here's a picture, security footage of Duncan and Shasta that led to his arrest. Oh my God. The case quickly became the largest criminal investigation in the history of Kootenai County. On May 19th, investigators received a tip from a sporting goods store in Idaho about a man asking for directions to Montana driving a white van with Washington license plates, accompanied by two kids who fit Dylan and Shasta's physical descriptions. No sign of the van was found. Meanwhile, investigators discussed the possible motives of the killings being drug deals gone bad, since weed and meth were found in Brenda and Mark's bloodstreams. But none of these things ended up fitting the investigation. I mean, I hope these kids it seems like they were okay. Let's see. Then at 1:30 p.m., 48 days after the case began, Duncan and Shasta were spotted in Coeur d'Alene's Denny's restaurant by two young men smoking cigarettes outside. One of the men recognized Shasta from a billboard that he passed earlier that evening and alerted his girlfriend and several employees, some of whom had already recognized Shasta. The manager called 911 at 1:51 and police eventually arrived at the restaurant. Duncan placed Shasta in the restrooms for unspecified reasons and returned a few minutes later only to be arrested. Wow, he took her to the bathroom. Shasta was rescued and taken to the hospital for a couple of days, where she was deemed to be in good physical health. except there was no trace of Dylan anywhere in the restaurant or the red Jeep Duncan was driving at the arrest. Recovered from the Jeep were dark gloves, night vision goggles, a video camcorder, a 12-gauge shotgun, and a red shotgun shell. Oh, no. Using details given by Shasta, authorities located a Montana campsite where Duncan held her and Dylan captive. 2 days after Shasta's rescue, officials gravely announced that Dylan's remains were found, oh no, off of a remote Forest Service road in the Bitterroot Mountains. Oh no, so Shasta, she survived, and she was the only one. Thank God she did, but Tess, it is. Oh, thank you, crazy mama. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for being here, or I'll see you soon. The world is so scary, Muffy. It is very scary. This is awful, you know. I don't know how I hadn't heard of it before. Let's see. Duncan's remains were found off of Forest Service Road. An autopsy confirmed that he had been shot to death and burned afterwards. Burned. Oh my God. Police also discovered a blog that Duncan had, which had implications that he claimed more lives. As a result, the FBI and investigators in at least 5 states began determining the timeline of Duncan's travels and corresponding it with any unsolved rapes and or murders of children. Duncan first appeared in court on July 13th, where he was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping, with the deaths of the grown family. Wow. He worked out a deal, pled guilty to all counts against him. How likely do you think it is that, like, Brian Koberger would plead guilty? I know that Woofy said the other day, like, she thought he might plead guilty the other day. Jen, oh gosh, his reign started in the 70s, but I think the end of it was in 2005. Hey, Danielle. Oh, what did she do? Let me see. I don't want to miss it. Oh, I've missed you too, Muffy Dragon Slayer. It's so good to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys being here. I really do. It always makes me feel better. Even like some days when I'm having really bad anxiety or I'm stressed out, and I'll be like, I'll force myself to go live after I come on and start talking to you guys. I always feel a million times better, walking away. Let me get my phone out. Okay. Hey, Gregory. Okay. He pled guilty to the first 3 murders. Then let's see. Duncan dismissed his attorneys and offered to represent himself. As a result, an evaluation was issued to determine his competency and therefore his ability to represent himself. The evaluation determined that he was indeed competent enough to do so. Yeah, do you guys think that Brian Koberger would plead guilty? See, it's interesting because, like, Amber's documentary, like I said, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But a lot of people in the chat, well, not a lot, but there were several people in the chat who were kind of like, they don't have much evidence at all. I don't think he did it. Or, just opposing opinions from mine, which I find really interesting because I kind of felt like they had a lot more than I expected. And I know they have a lot more than we know. Oh, Corey, I enjoy you being here. I really do. Appreciate you guys. He had those kids scared for a while. I remember being so scared for those kids. It was all over the news. Oh my God, thank God Shasta survived. I always think about how Shasta is today, losing her entire family so brutally. Can't imagine how hard it is to move forward afterwards. That's the bad part about this Henrietta case, you guys. Like, because you never get closure. Actually, today I was watching TikTok for a second, because I posted like a couple of short videos over there, and I was scrolling through waiting for it to upload, and I saw Landon, Gannon's mom, posted a video. I think the day that she was sentenced, and it was like she's off to prison, and it was showing her interview with the news. Or no, it wasn't the day she was sentenced, but it was shortly after. But it was, I actually totally lost where I was going with that. Hopefully it comes back to me. I feel they have more evidence than we have been told. I do too, Tony. You were in there, I think, this morning when we were chatting about it. What the hell was I going to say, you guys? What is wrong with me? I don't know. Today has been a weird one for me. I was like, been super anxious feeling. I don't know. Let's see. Something about on TikTok, but I can't remember. Hey, H-Doe, I haven't seen you in forever. Good to see you. The Dana Laney cow. Oh, I know what I was going to say. They never get that closure, that justice. Like, Muffy. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, Landon, she was celebrating. She was like so excited and, happy. Yes, Ava, resolutions. She was happy to have a little bit of closure, I think. And with this one, he took his own life at the end. So I don't know. I feel for the family and the friends a lot with that, because how do you, even as following it, as just like a regular person following along with the details, it's hard to really have any closure. The Dana lady Coward Coburger killed that lived by his parents' house didn't leave her phone at home. So do you think that he was involved with that Dana lady's disappearance and death? Oh, I'm sorry, Muffy. Yeah. I've been doing actually like pretty good lately. Like I was really struggling with the anxiety for a while. Here lately I've done better, but today I'm just, I don't know, a little off. All right, let's see if there's anything else to this. How do you get out for good behavior? Someone like that can't be rehabilitated. Wow, look at this. Hold on. Who said this? Anthony's mother reacted critically upon finding out that Duncan only served 14 years of the 20-year sentence he was given, which eventually led to the Grown Mackenzie murders. She said, how do you get out for good behavior? Someone like that can't be rehabilitated. I don't care what psychologists say. Duncan was incarcerated at the United States Penitentiary at a jail in Indiana prison. He died in March from brain cancer. I don't know. How many times does this have to happen for them to realize that these people should not get out? Good behavior while you're still getting in trouble? I mean, what the hell? It's such a like this whole system is just ugh. Hey, Roxanne, H-Doe. The coward stalked her. That's his MO. Yeah, I don't know. That's another thing. I was like, man, he looks so creepy, like Brian Koberger, that is, and this guy too, and Jesse actually. But you look at these guys, maybe it's because you know what they've done. I don't know. But it's just, that video of Jesse McFadden up on the thing climbing with the his TikTok. Like you watch that and it's just, But Brian Koberger, I think he just looks creepy. Maybe that's mean, but yeah, it's not his physical, it's not his physical appearance. It's like the stare. I don't know. There's something about him. Modus operandi. According to Shasta Grown, Duncan held the Grown family at gunpoint with a 12-gauge shotgun and used nylon zip ties to restrain Brenda, Mark, and Slade, all of whom he murdered by bludgeoning them with a Fat Max claw hammer. He also abducted, raped, and molested Shasta and Dylan, the latter of whom he killed by shooting him and then burning his body post-mortem. According to True TV Crime Library, he tortured Dylan by hanging him to the point of unconsciousness before reviving him. According to a confession that was given by Duncan, he molested Anthony Martinez as well and killed him by bludgeoning him with a rock. By hanging him to the point of unconsciousness. How much did Shasta see of this? Oh my God. You guys. I know we're kind of all over the place, but we're just hanging out. I'm about to let you guys go. I just if we're following a case, I don't want to let certain things go without us talking about it. And yeah, so if you missed my live earlier, definitely go check it out. It's very similar case to Gabby Petito, but needs more coverage for sure. Let's see. There's Shasta and Dylan. Oh my gosh. And then is that Anthony? Yep. So, that is just so sad. You guys. The double abduction. Dylan grown, 9. Brenda's youngest son. Repeatedly raped, molested, tortured, fatally shot, and burned post-mortem. Possible deaths. Wow. A 7-year-old in Washington. An 11 and 9-year-old in Washington. This is in 97, 98. Then possibly stalked the following 3 people. Oh my God. See, this is ridiculous. They got to stop letting these kind of freaks out of jail to keep doing this stuff. Seriously. I cannot. Oh my God, Lawler Amber. I wonder what she saw, Well, it is. I see why they were comparing it to Jesse McFadden, because getting out on good behavior, and then this happens. It's just ridiculous. I don't think these people can be rehabilitated. I don't. There's a whole community, minor attracted persons or something. They're called MAPS. And they are literally fighting to try to say that being attracted to children is no different than a woman being attracted to a woman. That it's who you like, you can't help it. It is absolutely disgusting. It really is. Yeah. See? Are just sick. Yeah, it's just disgusting, you guys. I don't know. I really, really don't. But yeah, if you missed the live earlier, it's a girl, Nikki Alcaraz or Nikki Cunningham. She went on a road trip with her boyfriend, was horrifically beat up. There was someone who even intervened and witnessed and had to help split up the fight, which apparently must have been mutual. No one was arrested. They went on to get back together, and now she hasn't been heard of since May 6th. So I wish that more people would talk about that one, because, dude, he's still out there roaming around. And I was thinking they found the car. They did not. They found, they spotted it through a license plate search. So, hey, juror. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a good night. Yeah. It's Sunday, but it's Memorial Day, so hopefully you guys don't have to work tomorrow, and you can just kick back and relax, and I'll definitely see you soon. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody, really. I appreciate you being here to hang out with me. Oh, man, Riddler, I would have loved to have some steak and eggs and vegetables. Also, some bacon, overly cooked to the point it's so crispy it almost dissolves. Yeah, I like that kind of bacon. I agree, Muffy. I do. You cannot I agree. Something's got to change. Truly. Oh, thank you, Astro from Space. Thank you, Law Nerd Amber. All right. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Bye.